J.R. Smith is here with us, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you, man. It's really good to see you. Been wanting to talk to you for a long time, ever since you walked on at North Carolina A&T, liberal studies major, by the way. And now you're here on the day of the U.S. Open teeing off, as well as the NBA Finals. So perfect timing. With a Red Sox hat, no less. First things first, man. Since you are a student athlete now, I'll ask you this two-part question. How are your grades this semester, and how is your golf game right now?
Well, first of all, thank you, man. I appreciate being on here with you too, man. I really, I watched y'all, obviously most of my career, and watched y'all come through y'all into your own a lot. So I appreciate being a part of this. Honestly,
thank you, man.
No, absolutely. For me, honestly, my grades slipped a little bit. I got a 3.8 this past semester.
Oh, slacker. A 3.8, goodness gracious.
Yeah, it's funny, man, because I set the bar so high for myself, man. I really, my goal was to get a 4.0 every semester, and that's how serious I took it. And I was really disappointed, but at the same time, I kind of knew it was coming because I kind of slacked off because I had so much stuff going on with my kids and just trying to finalize everything with moving and situating myself. It kind of fell into the back end of the year, but not to make no excuses. It's still obviously a good GPA to have, but I set the goals a little high for myself, and that's just where I'm at with at school. Golf, it comes and goes, man. I played in a little pro-am, not pro-am, but like a little member guest situation yesterday, and I played terrible. And the day before that, I was playing lights out. So, and golf comes and goes. Just trying to hone this in on the bad shots. It's crazy because being a shooter and coming from a game like basketball, where I know if I shoot it the right way, I shoot with this arc, I shoot it with this touch. I've done it for so long. I know when it's going to go in and when it's not. And then on a golf course, I don't have that. I can't rely on that. Those feelings because I haven't done it enough. And sometimes the ball it feels good and the ball ain't going nowhere, and it feels bad and the ball is going somewhere. So, I was just trying to find the middle ground with it.
It's just so interesting to hear you talk about it because, over your 16 seasons in the NBA, I'm sure at every step of the way, there was an aspect of your game that you wanted to work on, you wanted to improve, and the improvement happened, and now it's on to something else. How about golf? Is there an aspect of the game where you say, I really need to get better at that to go to the next level as a golfer?
Yeah, for me, it's course management. A lot of these, and I call them kids because to me, 18, 19 years old, that's pretty much what they was calling me when I was coming out of high school. So, but these are my peers now, and watching them, and they've been them being around the sport like I was playing basketball at 3 years old. They've been playing golf since they was 3, 4, 5 years old. So there's tricks to the trade that they know about, whether it be playing the ball below your feet, above your feet, which way the wind, direction, all of that plays into account. So trying to pick up those tricks and really hone us in on my course management more than anything, because the swing is going to be what it's going to be. You're going to hit good shots, you're going to hit bad shots, but if you can miss in the right spot of the course and play the course the right way, it'll make the game a lot easier on yourself. So for me, I would say, if anything, course management.
There's so much to your story. Just starting with you reinventing yourself, and going back to school post-career. So many professional athletes, as you know, struggle with that transition. You go and walk on as a student athlete at North Carolina A&T, so you have brought more attention in this moment where there's a lot of energy around HBCUs. You're bringing more attention to HBCUs. A black golfer, a black collegiate golfer, the numbers, as you know from experience, is like at a lot of black schools, the golf teams are predominantly white. You know what I mean? It's still a very white sport. Your name, image, and likeness deal that you struck with Lululemon, I believe. There's just so much that you're influencing just by going back to school and being a student athlete. How do you feel about, and how are you embracing this role as an ambassador, as somebody who is potentially bringing more young black people to the game of golf, as somebody who's shining the spotlight on HBCUs, or just, the idea of an athlete reinventing himself? Like J.R. Smith, as we see him now, long way from the shirtless celebrations when I last talked to you, post 2016, man? Like, just where are you now, and how are you embracing these multiple roles and these multiple hats that you're wearing?
Well, the speak on the first part, you said, you know, when players go from, you know, retirement and finding that lapse, I went through that state of depression and that trying to find my self-worth and who I am, and because I'm much more than just a basketball player, obviously, you know, and trying to figure out what am I actually good at? What do I like? What do I enjoy? Other than just being able to play a game that I've played forever, and now you can't do it no more at the level that you want to do it at anyway. For me, that was like, it took me months, man, maybe even a year. Like even when we won that championship in the bubble, I was still in the situation because I came in at the end and I was working out every day, you know, trying to hope, you know, the hard work pays off and all of that, and the opportunities weren't coming. So initially I was doing, you know, going to school, talking to Ray Allen, doing it to get, you know, better myself, but also do something better with my time other than just using my body as my talent, as my skills, my way of how people know who I am. So when I first went to school, I didn't even think about, you know, inspiring the whole, you know, culture of African Americans trying to change that narrative. It kind of grew on me as I got into school and started learning what I was learning, messing with my tutors and my professors. It was just like everything started clicking. It was like, damn, like so many between HBCUs and the underappreciation for college sports and African Americans in the game of golf, and it just all came into fruition. It was just like, okay, this is my calling, because it's something not only am I passionate about, I'm passionate about other kids who look like me and having the opportunity to not face those people walking into those country clubs like I did. Because when I first came in, everybody was like, okay, he got tattoos, he ain't gonna be able to hit the ball. There's so many different stereotypes of who you are, who I am as a person just walking down the street, let alone coming into a country club. And when they see that, it's already like, quote unquote, intimidating, but they know they have the upper hand because they've been in it longer. They own the country clubs, they own the land and everything. So for me, it was just like, damn, like how do I make sure, like, I want my girls to play golf. I got 4 beautiful girls, and these are young Black women who are already underappreciated in their respective as women, let alone sports. So how do I make a bigger impact for them, as well as my nephews that I got coming up behind me and people who, you know, really inspired by myself. So, and it actually worked, man, because my kids' grades shot through the roof. We got into a little competition battle between my 13-year-olds. Comparing GPAs and quizzes and test scores. And for me, that's like been the biggest joy of everything I've done, you know, winning 6-man, winning championships. And, you know, granted, they weren't of age at the time to really understand the value of everything that was going on in my professional career, but being able to understand what they're going through, whether it be schoolwork. When I was coming up in 4th, 5th grade, you couldn't get me to sit still in the classroom. You couldn't get high school. You couldn't get me to go to class. And now it's just like, okay, this is like I revisited some of the insecurities that I felt through them as being 13-year-old little girls, and, you know, stepping up in class, speaking and public speaking is like, I do it all the time, doing interviews and stuff like that. But I was coached that, I was taught that. And now actually going through it and seeing them have insecurities of raising their hand because they don't know the answer to the question that the teacher asked. And that's a real fear, you know, and having that and being able to tutor with, you know, college kids and have those professors in classes and whatnot, and them even see me raising my hand, and because I don't know, and I'm 36, and I'll be the first one to tell you I don't know everything. And when they see me, they're like, you asking? Like, yes, it's okay to ask questions. It's all right. Like, if you really want to know the answer, this is how you go about it. So from that perspective, man, it's been a journey that I really cherished and I don't take for granted, because it's for me, it's more enlightening and more uplifting than anything I did on the basketball court, because I'm bringing a culture of people who look like myself and making it cool to go back to school and be successful in school. Not only just be successful in your sport, but be able to go to your class with, no, I'm gonna get an A in this class. You know, I'm not just gonna go try and score 30 points tonight. I'm gonna get an A in this class. I'm gonna ace this test. I'm gonna ace this quiz. And changing that narrative, like, damn, this is gonna be tough. This is gonna be hard. This is time consuming. This is this. And just try to speak more positivity into it, because at the end of the day, you're gonna get what you put out of it. If I go in here and bust my ass in these classes, I'm gonna learn everything that I want to do so I can implement that for them later.
That's beautiful.
You know what, that's a great answer. And you know what, JR, I'll tell you a true story. I wear glasses. I started wearing glasses at 19. Why? Because that's right around the time I started college. That's when I actually started reading more deeply and studying harder. I was like, oh man, it was more work. I would say I learned while in college I learned how to prepare better and to really go through a study process. How about you? I mean, you look at this 4.0, you're back in college, you get a 4.0 immediately. What is your process? How did you get to that point? And just tell us how you got through it.
Well, for me, I get out my schedule. Like, we have practice every day at 3 o'clock from 3 to 6. And from 8 a.m. to about 10 a.m., I got tutoring classes. I take online with a tutor. And after that, you know, depending on who she's working with or if she's got time, normally I'll work on the rest of my assignments and stuff on my own or whatnot. But if she's working with, you know, one of the guys she's struggling with, trying to continuously keep him going to class, I'll jump in with a session on her just to show him, like, listen, bro, you're not by yourself. Like, I'm 36. I'm going through the same thing with these struggling writing these papers and all of this stuff too. And it showed me a different side, because I seen the spark in them and seen how they received that same information that she was given, but from me, because whatever reason, because I'm J.R. Smith or I got a name or whatever, you know, people always, it's never right when, you know, I tell, my mom says it all the time. My dad tells her something, she goes out the window. But then somebody else tells her something, she listens. It's like, okay, I see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's a gift and a curse, you know, because I shouldn't have to use who I am as my status level to encourage you, but if that's what it takes, then it's going to help. So I just try to use it to the best of my ability. But my days are packed, man. It's nothing but classes, because I struggle with a ADHD and dyslexic, so it takes me forever to, you know, read papers and write with my thoughts down and stuff like that. So I really struggle with that. So for me, It takes me just twice or 3 times as long as the average person. So I really got to sit there and dissect it and do all of that with my tutors and whatnot. And you know what, a lot of, you know, before even playing on teams with different guys, I used it as a crutch. Like, I never spoke on it. I was so insecure about it. I never wanted to tell anybody that I had trouble reading out loud, or I was insecure about my disabilities, you know, because I felt that made them superior to me, you know, and in fact, you know, now it empowers me to make sure that, you know, the next kid who has a God-given talent, ability like I do, make sure his insecurities doesn't lack in those areas, because I think that's a major part of your development. A lot of the things that I've went through, you know, and not to use that as an excuse, but things that I went through earlier on in my career, getting a bunch of money, having so much free time and space, for somebody who's like myself, I was everywhere. I was going here, I'm going there, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, instead of focusing on the task at hand. So another thing about college, it helps you think. It makes you think in different perspectives. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do liberal studies, because I wanted to get a different opinion of something of what not only is just of mine, because I'm very strong-minded. I have a very strong opinion on how things work and how, you know, other things are intertwined. So for me, having an outside perception and or outside thought from somebody else who can give it to me and I can actually digest it and understand, and not just be so stubborn with it, like, no, that's not it, and really look at it from their perspective as well.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I wanted to touch on with you, man. Is it's like, because I got a 16-year-old, my oldest is 16, I got 3, and we're starting to discuss college. And, you know, I'm just really trying to encourage her, like, to not necessarily focus on, like, what you think you want to major in or what you think you want to do at this age, or even, you know, where you might want to live. I wanted to go and have a fulfilling and fruitful and enlightening experience and just kind of go and just grow as a person when it comes to her perspective, her understanding. And I wonder for you, man, like, you know, you to go back to school as an adult, given the life that you've already led, how have you grown in how you think and how you see the world, your worldview, your paradigm, all those different things, just your thought process? How have you evolved being a college student, and not just being a college student, but like going all in on your studies the way you have?
I think I've evolved in the biggest way as a father more than anything. My being a professional athlete, anybody tell you we're always in and out, gone or whatever else, and you know the moms always got to hold the fort down. And for me, being learning and being around these kids, and I speak to them oftentimes about why are you doing this, who's your influence, or what's your purpose of going to school, is it just to make money, and all of these things. And a lot of people, and I hear from a lot of people, is the pressures from their parents, whether it be sports, whether it be academics, whether it be whatever they think they're passionate about, or whatever their parents think they're passionate about. And for me, I just want my kids to be happy. Like you were saying, I don't want you to just try and figure out everything right now, because it didn't work like that for me. And I'm definitely not expecting that to work like that for you. So, but my growth process with the school, man, it's been monumental, because again, I get to look at things from different perspectives, like the way and I go back to a lot of the things to what I did as I was playing, and how I carried myself as a quote unquote businessman, because your word is everything. And a lot of times, in that light, in that stratosphere, people let you get away with not holding up to your word. And for me, that was one thing I really had to hone this in. Like, no, if I give somebody my word that I'm gonna do something, that's what I'm gonna do. Whether I told him it was gonna be he gonna go bungee jumping, I watch him, or I just gotta go pick him up and ride with him, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just that type of integrity. It really showed an impact on me, because these people aren't just, I've been catered to majority of my life. And when you go to college, when you go off, their job isn't to cater to you. The job is to teach you how to be an adult. The job is to teach you how to go about your day, how time management and all of that. So I skipped that and escalated straight to, okay, you got a profession, you just here 2-3 hours a day, and the rest of the time you do what you want to do. You pay your own bills, taxes, all this other stuff. All right, I hire this guy, I do this and that. So I really was just out here aimlessly, not moving around without knowing everything about life. Like when I was about 30 years old, 32 years old, I would still get nervous going into a bank, asking them for my money. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like having those conversations, those going to the bank, like literally, listen, this is what I want to do, instead of, and having that insecurity of it, feeling inferior because this is something you haven't done. I haven't had to fill out a job application. That was never happened to me. I never worked in McDonald's for 2 weeks and got fired because the dude didn't like me or whatever. I never had to go through those situations. So a lot of those situations that people learn from 18 to 22 to 24 in a college experience or just regular life, I didn't have that. I went from this kid from Newark, New Jersey to boom, 18th pick, New Orleans. He's the most popular kid in the city, bunch of money, whatever. All right, do your thing, And it was just like, and my dad, fortunately, I'm one of those kids who had both parents growing up. My dad lived with me my first year, and he was trying to grow me. But again, you 18, 19, what is somebody else going to tell you, whether it's your dad or not? You got money. Listen, you always told me I got my own roof. I can do what I want. All right, cool. I got it. You know what I'm saying? And I still wasn't in that stage, So for me, the best thing I've ever did was go out of high school and then come back, because when I came back, I was able to grow as a man on so many different layers that I was immature at. And then when I used to talk to my parents or talk to my dad or talk to my siblings and my friends and my boys, and they go through things, I'm sitting there like, damn, we really gotta Like, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta sit on the phone with the electric man and do this. I ain't never do none of that.
Adulting, yeah.
You're like adulting, literally adulting. Like, I ain't gotta sit here waiting in the house for no AT&T dude to get here to come set my internet up. That joint was already set up before I got there. When I leave, my bags is already packed. Everything is already good. You know, and you so used to living in quote unquote first class, everything else is second nature. So well, for me, third nature, because when I got to it, it's just like, oh, whoa. Like, I was something I wasn't used to, but I'm fortunate because I'm still here to talk about it and be in a situation to have the talent and be blessed to be able to do the things I'm doing. And I don't take that for granted at all, because I know, you know, so many other people who've been in my shoes, and whether it be, you know, who was better than me in high school and didn't make it to the league, or who made it to the league and was out of the league in 2 years, or whatever the case, being able to persevere over time. And sometimes I don't know how it happens, but I just know it's a bigger calling.
That's good stuff. Mike, what you got? I can talk to this dude all day. I was gonna make a pivot to go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was gonna say, look, Mike, you start off the top talking about golf and basketball in Boston, the intersection. U.S. Open is here. NBA Finals Game 6. I know you've been keeping up with the NBA Finals. A very simple question: who do you like tonight between the Warriors and Celtics?
So I had the Warriors picked in 6. I didn't see the series going the way it did. I thought they would have had more control over it early. And then Boston not losing 2 back-to-back, and they being at home. I think it's a lot of I won't say pressure, but that's enough to get you to a Game 7. They got the talent. It's just a matter of, to me, it's just a matter of Wiggins' play. If Drew come and play, man, he on his thing, then the Warriors, there shouldn't even have been no series. But I would say I got the Warriors picked up. I got a question for y'all though, because I know y'all want basketball, you know, but y'all are sports guys. And I continuously keep getting asked this question. How do y'all feel about the PGA Tour and Live Golf?
I was going to ask you that. We going to ask you that.
I'm going to answer. Right. I want y'all to know.
The tables have turned. I mean, because Michael and I went at it the other day because, I see both sides. The last time we talked about this, JR, was when the PGA suspended the players who had gone and participated in the Live Tour. I appreciated the PGA Tour saying, you know what? You're not going to literally have your cake and eat it too. Like, you're not going to go and help this upstart league or this upstart tour at our expense and still get the benefits of being a tour member. Like, do what you got to do. Get your bag, but there's a price to be paid for it. I also understand that everybody does have a price. It's easy to say who you wouldn't take money from or which money you wouldn't accept until you offer $200 million the way Phil Mickelson got, or $150 million the way Dustin Johnson got. So I get the people who say, no, we don't want that Saudi Arabian money. We're loyal to the PGA Tour, and I get the PGA Tour doing what it has to do, but I'm also not going to judge somebody for doing what they got to do. I would not personally want to be associated with the Saudi-backed tour. But again, ain't nobody offering me $200 million to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I get it.
And, you know, and the other thing I said to Mike, JR, was this. Look, you know, the PGA Tour is well established. It's great. It's high profile. But any league, you got to stay, whether it's a league in the pros or whether it's college athletics with NIL agreements, you got to stay on top of it. You just can't assume because you've been doing it for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, that you just go keep doing business as usual. Competition comes from a lot of places, and this is just a way to make sure you stay on your P's and Q's, and you got to give players a reason beyond history. Give them a reason beyond history to say, come here. Because you're going to have competitors, and they're going to be throwing a lot of money, and it won't be Saudi money. And the next time, hey, Mike and JR, maybe it won't be Saudi money. Maybe it'll be so-called reputable money, and now these people will have a decision to make.
So, JR, what would you do? You're a player, you on the PGA Tour, and somebody in the Saudi government or a Saudi-backed tour offers you more money than Tiger Woods has made his entire career on tour. Would you have taken the money, or would you just be like, nah, I'm PGA Tour through and through?
Me personally, I understand the business side of it, so I would go to the Live Tour, you know, because for me, I've seen the other side of whether it be suspensions or things going on that you didn't agree with, that you really don't have a say in. And when you making that type of money, I don't see especially if I'm an independent contractor. If I'm an independent contractor, don't hold me to no quote unquote moral standards, because at the end of the day, all y'all morals ain't the standards of ours. If that's the case, especially from a sport that's known for not being the most acceptance of people of color. Like, to me, that's the only, like, that's where I get
hypocrisy there.
Yeah, like, my thing is, like, let's not just act like all y'all money clean. Because when you, like, it may be clean now, but when you started it off, when y'all got all this land and did all of this stuff, like, and we wasn't even allowed to play in your tournaments and play on your tour for a long time. Like, let's not act like all your money is clean. That's my only thing. Like, everything is, like, there's some people around here who not even showing their taxes. So you can't tell me everybody money good.
That's what's up. Hey, your time is money, and we got to let you go because we could do this all day, literally. I just got one last question. Who have you played with lately that you could name drop with us, you could share, or who would you love to have a foursome with? Who be your dream foursome if you could? Besides us, of course.
Man. I played with Mike not too long ago, man. That was amazing. That was
amazing. Jordan?
Yeah,
I played with Mike.
Man, that was like,
there it is.
I felt like a little kid.
Mike dropped right there.
It don't matter who else is in that foursome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 8 other people, man. Mike be playing with 10 people, bro. I never seen it before. When you got your own course, though, you could do that. But if I had a dream foursome, I would say Mike, Tiger, and my pops. My pops and my brother was playing golf earlier on, and my brother got all these trophies and stuff. And he used to hold over my head when I come home. I was like, man, I don't care. I don't even play golf, bro. This corny.
Look at you now.
Look at me now, right? And my pops used to play, so I mean, he not as mobile as he used to be, but just to have him ride around the cart with those legends and talk stories, that'll be great.
Hey, JR, you aced this, man. We can't thank you enough. Thank you for the time. This was fun. Appreciate you, man, and proud of you.
Appreciate
you gotta do a Higher Learning sequel. It's like Higher Learning starring J.R. Smith, man. Wow, what a story. What a story.
Appreciate that.
North Carolina A&T's Academic Athlete of the Year, J.R. Smith.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.